All right, it's part 4 of our Sun Devil Summer Series. We've got last year's freshman sensation, Johnny Walker, with us. And Johnny, I'm going to start off by telling you, last year I called you Johnny Walker when we started the season. Then you earned the Johnny Walker Maroon. And then after 17 goals as a freshman, I think I'm going to up it to Johnny Walker Maroon and Gold. So what do you think of that?
That's pretty good. It's a good combo.
So let's talk a little bit about the summer, first of all. It's been a busy one for you. I know you spent some time in Chicago. You spent some time with the Columbus Blue Jackets development camp. So let's talk about the Blue Jackets. What was that like for you?
Yeah, it was a good opportunity, good experience. It was good to see kind of the competition of guys that are right there, right on the brink, top end first round picks, and kind of comparing what I'm doing and what I need to work on, and it was a good learning experience, just being able to see what it takes and what they're doing every day, and maybe what I need to work on a little bit.
You know, from what I heard and saw from Columbus was you became a fan favorite pretty quickly. I'm not surprised at that because you got a great attitude and a great work ethic. But what was that like? Did you kind of sense that as well when you're on the ice?
I mean, yeah, I think that's kind of comes with the way I play. Maybe a little more physical and like to go to the net. And then, I mean, the fans love the shootout, so I guess that kind of helped a little bit too. So. No, it was a good experience. Like I said, they were only there for that 1 3-on-3 day, but it was a good atmosphere, and it was a pleasure to be there.
And I talked to your teammate, now your captain, Brinson Pasternak, early in this series, and when I was visiting with him, he said it's such a big thing to be able to go to that development camp because when you come back to the college level, there's really not anything that hits you surprisingly. You're ready for it. Is that kind of what you felt too with being in the NHL level?
Yeah, it was. Those are guys that are, like I said, 5 years from now, there's some of those guys will be making $7 million playing this sport. So they're obviously a different breed, and there's a few players that you just look at and it's like, wow, it's a special hockey player. So I got to skate and play with Foodie for that 3-on-3, and it was. Kind of like you said, like a little surprising. Like some things he'll do are obviously uniquely special to his skill set, but I think that we're building here and we're kind of making a push to be a contender at this level. So I'm excited for this year.
You know, every year with this program, I've seen it since day one, is that you guys keep adding talent, building talent, adding players. This year is going to be the best ever, from what Coach tells me, as far as not total numbers necessarily, because you've had some players, but you're going to have a lot of players with a lot higher skill that you've had in the past. And what's that going to mean for your game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously when you play with better competition, you're going to get better. And I think last year was a good step and good start to my college career. And I think just adding the freshman class I've been skating with, those guys can all play hockey, and rightfully so at this level. So I think that adding a couple pieces here and there is only going to help our complete process. So
I know there's one guy that spent the whole season as a redshirt last year that everybody's waiting to see on the ice, and I'm talking about Lemmy, or Austin Lemieux. And tell me a little bit about what you expect Austin to bring to the team particularly.
Yeah, it's hard. I haven't really seen him play. It's practice is one thing, but I think obviously he's a pretty big body, and he's got that skill set, that a good hockey IQ. So it's tough to really, you expect a lot out of a name like that, and you demand a lot out of a name like that. But at the same time, it's going to be his first year at the college level, and I'm sure he'll adapt fine. But also you got to make sure that. That expectation is that he's still a freshman. He hasn't played a game yet. So whereas I struggled with that learning curve at the beginning of the year, maybe everyone's got to adjust and figure out how their game fits best at this level. So I'm sure he'll do fine with that. But I think that everyone's still got to remember he hasn't played a game in a year and a half. So if it does take a little time, then he'll adjust and he'll be just fine. So.
Johnny, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll talk a little bit about last year and how the season ended for you, and then this coming year with the schedule and everything that you guys have.
Cool.
In today's odor elimination, sanitizing, and deodorizing market, air spaces and fabrics are treated with very aggressive, highly toxic, and often very dangerous but cheap chemical-based solutions. These chemicals have harmful residues and pollutants that can impact your health and the well-being of those around you. This is the bad news. The good news is there's something better. That something is OxyPal. OxyPal is a fast-growing company based in Phoenix, Arizona, with franchises opening across North America. OxyPal has developed a way to eliminate, not mask or disguise, all organic-based odors in any airspace or on any fabric surface with ozone, also called trioxygen. Ozone is present in the atmosphere, and it is what protects our planet, our environment, and every living thing on Earth. Through years of research and development, OxyPal has perfected a way to harness and apply this powerful solution to purify air spaces and fabric surfaces safely and effectively, eliminating all organic bacteria, viruses, mold, fungi, and allergens on the molecular level. OxyPal has designed and perfected many next-generation and evolutionary alternative products and services safe for people, pets, and our planet. The solutions offered by OxyPal are stronger, safer, non-toxic, and a great value. Visit our website and online store today at www.oxypal.com. On our website, you can make a service appointment, buy products, or learn more about us and our great franchising opportunities.
All right, we're back with another segment with Johnny Walker. And Johnny, last year you talked a little bit earlier about the learning curve, and obviously I think towards the end of the year that learning curve was accelerated, the way you were putting the puck in the net, the confidence that you were playing with on the ice. So was there a turning point that you can see last season that got you to that point?
I struggled a bit at the beginning, and it was a combination of different things, and I think everyone's got a learning curve and has to adjust. But at some point, you got to realize it doesn't really matter if you're a freshman or not. You got to kind of help and contribute in the ways you can. I knew my role was to produce offensively, and I needed to be able to do that. I thought the big point was when Coach Powers scratched me the first game against Penn State.
Right.
Kind of ass burnt, and it was, maybe a little frustrated with him. But I think that from that point on, I think, at the time I really didn't see eye to eye with him. But obviously his move definitely worked out, because from that point on, it just kind of made me realize, like, you're not guaranteed a spot in the lineup. You have to work for it every night. And, some guys are killing penalties or doing whatnot, and my job's to put the puck in the net. And basically, if you're not doing it, what you need to contribute some way. So, pretty grateful that, looking back on it now, grateful that Coach Powers was able to kind of reset me and kind of move me in the right direction so that I could have the season that I did.
And for a goal scorer like yourself, I know a lot of things don't change on the ice, but sometimes you just snake bit. Like you'll hit pipes, you'll hit, you miss by a quarter of an inch, you hit some spot that you didn't want to hit, and was there a point in time where you were going like, man, is this puck ever going to go in? Or?
Yeah. There's a few times. I know against Air Force, I hit the goalie's knob at least 3 times. Hit the post a few times, but hockey's a weird game where you play it the right way, you're going to get rewarded, and I think that's kind of what Coach Powers instilled in me with missing that game was, maybe you're not doing all the little things that you're going to get rewarded. The hockey gods aren't on your side because you're not doing it the right way, or you're not working the way that you can, or doing everything you can. And from that point, it just kind of lit a fire, and just kind of made me realize, do all the little things, and then the end result will kind of take care of itself.
I know the back of your jersey says number 7 and says Walker, but I think sometimes on there's a little bit of a star, a check mark, a target maybe. Yeah. Somebody wants to find you, and they all know where number 7 is in maroon and gold, don't they?
Yeah. They, kind of make myself known out there. I'm not too afraid to fire it up a little bit, but I think that's part of the game, and You know, it's just kind of something that I can't really turn off. I think it's been there since I was probably 7 years old. Just once anything competitive, I doesn't really matter what it is. I need to win. So that's just kind of the way I'm wired.
So I understand that later on this afternoon from this interview, there's going to be more competitiveness on the ice when you tee it up with your dad for the afternoon. But
yeah.
I'm guessing he's in trouble, isn't he?
Yeah, he's. I mean, I'm a decent golfer, but when you're that bad, it just doesn't really matter. It's pretty. There's not a lot of pressure to be. You know, we talked about playing with better players and getting better every year. You definitely get worse playing with someone like that. So.
Well, I know he cherishes the time with you to be able to spend a little one-on-one time, so that's a big part of the summer. But let's branch off a little bit and talk about this upcoming schedule. You guys have a gauntlet coming up. The best part of it is you're going to really find out early how good your team is, and you're also going to find out how well you can play at home, right?
Yep. So I think that's kind of the big selling point that we need to get the freshmen coming in, is realizing how important it is playing in this building. You know, people come here and laugh at Oceanside, and then, you know, we might whoop up on you at home, whereas on the road we might struggle a little bit. So this is our rink. I mean, there's not one kid in the room that's going to complain about the setup we have. We have everything we need. It might not be the prettiest. It might not be what you think is a college hockey rink, but what matters is what happens on the ice. So, you know, there were games last year, UMass Lowell we beat at home, and a lot of teams that we were definitely ruled out right away. We were able to hold our own and even win a few of those games. So, you know, this is our home, and if you're coming to Arizona, you're going to have to beat us at Oceanside.
Let's take another quick break. We'll come back and wrap things up. We'll talk a little bit about some of the new digs that are going on in that locker room. I had a chance to go through that last week, and we'll talk a little bit about your teammate and your new captain.
Cool.
All right, we're back with our final segment with Johnny Walker. And Johnny, let's talk a little bit about Oceanside. You touched on it earlier in it about this being you guys' home ice, and you guys defend this thing, don't you?
Yeah, it's you know, it feels tight out there, and the way we play a really heavy, fast, strong game, it can probably be overwhelming for a team to come in and play in a rink like this, and when, you know, maybe BU's used to playing in a bigger rink, or UMass Lowell's a bigger rink, more open. You know, we seem to take it to teams here.
You know, they did some renovations again. I know Coach Powers thinks he doesn't want to keep anything stagnant, so made some changes in your locker room. I know you probably had a chance to go through and see the changes, and there's more coming, but one of the things that stood out to me was the countdown clock that they installed on the wall. I don't know if you've seen that yet,
Yeah,
but it's already got Alaska Fairbanks up there. As a player, what does that do for you? Does it do anything? Does it have any effect?
You know, it's I think it was maybe Fieldsy's idea, which is just absolutely incredible that a AIC education can count that high, but it's neat. You know, you think, you know, especially college hockey, it's a long summer, and it can kind of get dog days, and it's like, well, now, you know, we still got another however many weeks, months, whatever, but it kind of keeps you, when you see that, it dials you in a little bit, like, well, you know, we only do have, I think it was 70 days or something, whatever.
Right.
78 days, I think it says on there, whatever it is, 72, 78. we only have 70 days left. You know, you only have this much time left. You kind of got to make the most of it, whether it's you know, it's a little 4-on-4 captain's practice, or you're working out. You gotta put in time, and that's kind of like touching back on Columbus. You know, all these guys are all doing it. So are all the other teams. All the other teams are working hard, and you know, as a new program, we have to instill that work ethic and that drive right away. So that countdown clock is pretty cool, and it'll just carry all year. And those Cubbies, John Loffinger likes to take some of my ideas and put them on Twitter like it was his.
See, I knew that was coming. I knew it wasn't his idea.
Yeah, that was. I'd like to take a lot of credit for that. So Johnny can throw it on Twitter, and you know what? He's been running his mouth a little bit all over. I've seen like articles and stuff. You know, just maybe
he's
credit.
Kind of a big head, isn't he?
Maybe credit where credit's due every once in a while, Johnny. So
tell me a little bit about. Just announced the other day a new captain for you. Not new to your program, certainly, but what do you think Brinson's going to bring to your team, both on and off the ice? And of course, Dylan's here, and Dylan served a great job for the first couple of years of this program. And so what do you think it's going to be to have a new captain?
Yeah. Well, first of all, Dylan did a fantastic job. I mean, he's a guy that, you know, me and him probably didn't see eye to eye at the beginning of the year. We maybe like battled a little bit, but when it came down to it, and that kid was talking, or that kid said shut up, or that kid said, you know, you need to work a little harder, or you need to do this or that. It's someone that you listen to, and his words carry weight. You know, a lot of people can talk, and it's just water off the back, and you just kind of brush it off. But Dylan, you know, he earns that respect. He comes to the rink every day, works as hard as he can, and that's something special that he'll still have that leadership presence. But as far as Brinson, I think that he you know, he's really taken on the religious aspect of his life, and I think he's cleaned up a lot, maybe of his of bad habits, and he's trying to be a better person, which is awesome. And you know, I think that takes a lot of courage and a lot of manhood strength, if you want to take that next step. And he's still very young, but to kind of be able to look up to someone like that's important. And you know, he's kind of got his priorities straight, and I think that he's going to come in and make a big impact as soon as he gets here.
Okay, Johnny, we're back. I want to touch base and wrap things up with giving you your opinion on. I know you've worked with Boris Dorozhenko and his skating clinic for years, and I know you, Boris, are good friends. But a lot of people said, "Hey, if there's one area Johnny needs to improve on, it's skating." And what's your summer been like working with Boris?
Yeah, Boris was out in Chicago for the last 2 weeks, so I was. I'd work out, get done with workout, and head over there and just kind of work on little things and my hip mobility and stuff like that. You know, I think a lot of it. I think my skating is about as pretty as it's going to get, but I think that you know, you can't argue with maybe an extra step in speed, or a little quicker agility. Sorry. And I think that's kind of what Boris and I are working on. You know, maybe not fixing the dynamic of my skating, just making me quicker and more efficient, and maybe gaining that extra step, whether it's agility or full speed. So Boris has been huge in my skating, and just being able to, you know, freshen up and touch up on some things while he was in Chicago was awesome.
Do a couple of quick things that I need to ask you about. First of all, is anything new you're going to show us in the pregame warm-up? You know, I always got my camera rolling because there's always something coming from you. But got any new plans for pregame this year?
You know, it'll probably stay about the same. That's you saw pretty much the same thing every time. You know, I kind of, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So, you know, just kind of you keep it loose and stay focused, but mainly just waiting for that clock to run out, getting ready for the game.
I also want to ask you about the stepbrother. I know he's he's improving and getting better. Has he caught you yet, or is he getting pretty close?
Yeah, I've almost caught him. He's doing really well. You know, maybe a slice of humble pie here and there, letting him know that you know, you're still only 14 years old. But no, he's doing fantastic. He'll skate with Boris. I think it's like 14 straight weeks. Going to Japan and that kind of dedication. You know, after 2 weeks, I had enough of Boris. But you know, he works really hard, and it's inspiring. You know, you see a young kid like that wants to be that good, that wants to, you know, play college hockey and wants to you know, maybe be a Sun Devil one day. Coach Powers.
Nobody's driving that one home, are they?
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but you know, I think me being here is him being able to see that college aspect and that the level of competition that college hockey brings is really special. And you know, he goes every day and he works, and you know, people sit there and just salivate at his skating, including me. But you know, that kid. He's putting in the time and effort, and it's stuff like that doesn't just happen. So he's doing a really good job.
And finally, we're going to wrap it up with, I know last year you were really struggling with finding a date and the part of the Bachelor program. And I know we all got together. We talked about what can we do to help Johnny find a real date and get things going.
Yeah.
And I know your girlfriend now probably isn't going to want to hear this, but did you find a date? Did the Bachelor work out for you?
You know, she's doing good now. I met her on Tinder. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I kind of figured it out. Maybe now that that's out of the way, you know, can kind of focus on some other things. So she's good cook, and dialing in my diet. So Coach Hicks, you know, I don't have to hear it from him anymore. Because you know, I've got some sources that are telling me I might be in better shape than him now. So just waiting to see him stroll into the rink one of these days.
Well, so I guess we can finally take that profile off of FarmersOnly.com, right?
Yeah, that's the Christian Mingle account I can close now. It's that was taking a hit on my bank account. So, and then paying for Tinder too is really getting old.
All right, Johnny, I appreciate the time.
Yep.
Have a great rest of the summer. Let's look forward to building on that 17-goal season from last year.
Appreciate it. Thank you.